The job I had spent 11 years earning disappeared with one click. And I wasn't the one who clicked. My name is Marcus, and for 11 years I was the assistant general manager of a flagship downtown hotel. 412 rooms. 2 restaurants. A lobby bar that did more revenue than most standalone restaurants in the city. If you have ever checked in at midnight and found your room ready, even though the system said it wasn't, somewhere there was a person like me making that happen. That was my whole career. Quiet fixes. No applause. I was fine with that, because there was a finish line. Our group was opening a new flagship property across the river, and the general manager position was posted internally that spring. $45,000 more a year. My own property. 11 years of midnight shifts pointed at one job. I submitted my application on a Tuesday morning, 8 days before the window closed. I remember because I read the confirmation screen twice, the way you check a door you already know you locked. 12 days later, the regional director was in our lobby for a walkthrough. Gerald. Sharp guy, fair, hard to read. As he was leaving, he shook my hand and said, almost gently, that he'd been surprised I didn't put my name in for the new property. He said, and I will never forget the phrasing, that he'd expected my application and respected my decision to withdraw it. Withdraw it. I stood in my own lobby, in the suit I had pressed that morning, and felt the floor move. I told him there had to be a mistake. I had applied. I had the confirmation. Gerald frowned the way executives frown when something is beneath their pay grade, and said the system showed I'd withdrawn my candidacy the night before the window closed. Then his car came and he was gone, and I was standing next to the bell desk trying to keep my face hotel calm while my career quietly burned down behind it. Here is the thing about hospitality people. We are trained, bone deep, never to make a scene in a lobby. So I didn't. I went to my office, closed the door, and logged into the applicant tracking system. And there it was. Application withdrawn. Timestamp, 11:47 p.m., the night before the deadline. Under my own login. I had not touched that system at 11:47 p.m. At 11:47 p.m. that night, I was at my niece's birthday dinner 40 minutes away, and I could prove it, because I had paid the check at 11:52 and the receipt was still in my email. But proving where I was didn't answer the question that actually mattered. Someone had been inside my account. Someone who knew my schedule, knew the application window, knew exactly which click would end me, and knew it would look self-inflicted. The short list of people who could do that was very short. Our duty managers shared a terminal at the back of the front desk, an old machine everyone hated, where half the staff stayed logged into things because logging back in took 4 minutes. The system didn't give you a check-in rush. I had used the ATS from that terminal twice, which meant my session could have been sitting there, warm and open, for anyone who knew where to look. And the person who knew where to look, who knew my password habits, my schedule, my niece's birthday, the exact shape of my ambitions, was the other assistant GM. Dana. Dana and I came up together. 8 years side by side. She ran front of house like a conductor. I ran the back like a watchmaker. We covered each other's shifts, ate hundreds of staff meals together, told each other things you only tell someone in the same trench. When the new property was announced, we joked about competing for it. At least I thought we were joking. She had applied too. Everyone knew that. What I didn't know yet was what she had done about the fact that, on paper, it wasn't close. I had 3 more years of tenure, the renovation project, the union negotiation, the flood recovery. If both names reached Gerald's desk, the job was mine. Every person in that building knew it, including her. But suspicion is not evidence, and accusing a beloved colleague of sabotage with nothing but a timestamp is how you become the bitter guy who couldn't accept losing. So I did what 11 years of night audits teach you to do. I got quiet, and I got methodical. First, the terminal. Our IT contractor kept access logs for the shared machines, and the ATS vendor kept a full audit trail, not just what was done, but the workstation ID it was done from. I requested my own account's audit history, which I was entitled to see. The withdrawal at 11:47 p.m. came from the lobby duty terminal. The same machine Dana had been stationed at that night. The duty roster, which I helped write weeks earlier, before any of this, had her covering the overnight lobby shift alone. Still circumstantial. She could say anyone walked past that terminal. So I kept pulling threads. Because there was a second thing bothering me. Even with my application gone, Gerald had said something else in the lobby that day, that he'd heard concerns about my readiness for a flagship. Heard. From whom? An application withdraws silently. Concerns have a voice. Our phone system logged every call from every extension, number dialed, duration, time of day. Hotels keep those records because guests dispute phone charges. I had administrative access to that system, because of course I did. I was the person who fixed everything. I was careful. I didn't go fishing through anyone's personal calls. I searched one thing. Any call from any internal extension to the regional office in the 2 weeks before the deadline. There was exactly one. 22 minutes. Placed from Dana's office extension to Gerald's direct line at 4:15 on a Thursday afternoon, 6 days before my application was withdrawn. A 22-minute call to the man deciding the promotion. Followed 6 days later by my application vanishing from a terminal she was rostered on, alone, at 11:47 at night. I sat with those two facts for a long evening. I want to be honest. Part of me kept trying to build the innocent version. Maybe the call was routine. Maybe someone else used the terminal. I had 8 years of friendship arguing the case for her. But friendship is testimony, not evidence, and the evidence only pointed one direction. I did not confront her. I have watched 100 lobby confrontations, and not one of them ever produced anything but noise. Instead, I wrote everything into a single document. The application confirmation email. The dinner receipt placing me 40 minutes away at 11:47. The ATS audit trail with the workstation ID. The duty roster with her name on the overnight. The PBX log with the 22-minute call. No accusations, no adjectives. Just timestamps in one column and facts in the next. Then I sent it to the one person whose job was to care, the group's HR investigator, with a 2-line cover note asking them to review the integrity of the internal application process for the new property. The investigation took 19 days, and I went to work every one of them like nothing was happening. That was the hardest part, standing in the same lobby with Dana, trading the same morning nods, watching her start to believe it had worked. It had not worked. The ATS vendor's audit log was more detailed than anyone in our building realized. It didn't just record the workstation. It recorded the whole session, including that, 90 seconds before my application was withdrawn, the same session had opened her own application status page. Whoever was driving that keyboard checked on Dana's candidacy, then closed mine. From her rostered terminal. On her solo shift. The investigator also interviewed Gerald about the call. I never learned every word of what was said in those 22 minutes. I only know that after the interview, the regional office stopped describing my withdrawal as a decision and started describing it as an incident. Dana was terminated for falsifying records in the application system. It happened on a Tuesday, quietly, the way hotels do everything. There was no announcement. Her name just came off the roster, and a week later her office was a storage room for banquet linens. The application window was reopened for one candidate by instruction of the regional office. Gerald called me himself this time. The conversation lasted 4 minutes, and at the end of it the new flagship had a general manager. I run that property now. 480 rooms, a rooftop bar, a lobby twice the size of the one I grew up in professionally. Some mornings I get there before the overnight crew leaves, and the new duty managers have a rule they think I don't know about. Nobody, ever, stays logged into anything on a shared terminal. They think it's an IT policy. Last month, a junior front desk agent asked me how I got the job. I told her the truth, or the part of it that fits in a lobby conversation. I told her I applied, and the application went through. This morning I walked the lobby at 6, the way I always do. The marble had just been polished, the flowers were being changed, and the espresso machine at the bar was warming up. A guest asked me for directions to the gym, and I walked him there myself.